Blockchain, blockchain. We talking about an intellectual choo-choo train. It's DLT up in these streets, man. That's why we rip all on that blockchain. Blockchain, blockchain. What is going on, blockchain monkeys? Eagle here, and I'd like to thank you for coming to my jungle. Now, first of all, I am no financial advisor whatsoever, nor am I a professional in blockchain technology, but there is one thing that I absolutely will do. And that's give you my opinion. So today, I want to talk a little bit about the IMF. A little bit about, about a few things that I don't really talk about, but that has really caught my attention. Also, I want to get into the Celsius network and what they have going on. There's a reason why I continually talk about the Celsius network. But I want to come to my Twitter and show you what the IMF has tweeted out. And we thought we'd never get to this point. Why is the IMF talking about cryptocurrencies and posting stuff like this on their page? Who are they trying to educate and for what?
When we buy or sell things, the payment is usually processed by a bank or credit card company. Problem number one, the companies often take a cut of the transaction. Two, we have to trust these companies to protect their sensitive data from hackers. Three, most international payments take a long time and are expensive. To solve these problems, we could use a special currency that is secure and based on the science of cryptography, which is a way of protecting information using mathematics. This special type of currency is called a cryptocurrency and only exists in computer networks. When you send someone this special currency, the money goes directly to them, removing the middleman. And at the same time, the transaction is broadcast to the entire network and recorded in a permanent way, which means it's almost impossible to fool the system. Costs of making payments are lower, transactions are faster, especially across countries, and even those people around the globe who don't have bank accounts can buy or sell goods and participate in the global economy. However, there are some risks. The transactions in most cryptocurrencies are anonymous. Some cryptocurrencies can even be untraceable. This can make it easier for the bad guys to make payments without being noticed. If you lose your password, you could lose all your money. At the moment, cryptocurrencies are highly volatile. They can't process large amounts of transactions quickly yet, and they're not even widely accepted.
Now, she said at the moment they're highly volatile and they're not widely accepted yet.
But if we can counter the risks, then this new technology or some variation of it.
You said this new technology and some variation of it. Are you talking about XRP and Ripples? What is that? What we're finally eventually gonna get to? This is just a question I got.
Can completely change the way we sell, buy, save, invest, and pay our bills. And who knows, this could be the next step in the evolution of money.
Thank you for giving us steps one by one, here by two. Okay, it's like these are the steps. We're taking you little by little. We're going to hold your hand as we go into this digital market stage. Who are you kidding? You got a bunch of blockchain monkeys that knows exactly what's going on, and we are here first. How magnificent is that? How telling is that to see something like that? Okay, so guys, before we get into the Celsius network, I wanted to stop by Binance real quick because they did a little something. Okay, they did a little something. Binance.us opens doors to Florida crypto traders. You better believe it. As we march, Binance US, the United States branch of major crypto exchange Binance, just announced it would be making its services available to Florida residents. Let's go. Okay. Now, how great is this? You are in a position where you're just watching the adoptions take place. Adoptions over here, adoptions over there, adoptions over here, adoptions everywhere. We are here first. Okay. Now, there is something I can't let go. When I saw this, because you got to figure, I mean, this is Chris Larson, executive chair of REFERRAL. argues China can reverse Bitcoin's transactions. We're getting close, guys. Okay. First of all, we already know there's a plan in place. There's a plan in place, but there's also a push taking place at the same time. Okay, Chris Larson, the co-founder of executive chair of Ripple, penned an opt yesterday in the popular DC news periodical The Hill, the audience of which is generally composed of U.S. lawmakers and policymakers in Washington, D.C. His topic was titled, "The Tech Code War is Here and the U.S. Isn't Winning." Ripple's headquarters are located in the Bay Area, and recently Larson's had made some very generous donations in concert with Ripple to assist the COVID-19 pandemic. Can you see what's going on? Are your nostrils fully open out there in the jungle? Are they wide open? Are the machetes in your hand? Are you fully fed with your potassium from your bananas? Because what is happening here is wide open for you to see. Okay, Larson described that a focus on 5G and AI should not overshadow the threat from China with digital currencies and blockchain technology. According to Larson, the Chinese government has subsidized vast amounts of energy needed to fuel cryptocurrency miners. According to Larson, at least 65% of cryptocurrency mining is concentrated in China, which means the Chinese government has a majority needed to wield control over those protocols and can efficiently block or reverse transactions. Are you listening? Are you seeing what's happening here? This is a steam pot, folks, waiting to bust. Okay. I had to share that with you real quick. But there's a reason. Oh, you know what? I can't go there yet. I can't go there yet because there's a huge gorilla in this jungle. His name is Viking Vision, okay? You talk about digging inside the V-chain atmosphere, the V-chain ecosystem. He takes his shovel, he takes his machete, he goes deep underneath the surface to see what's going on in there. And for that, I am thankful. And we happened to do a little interview yesterday. Viking Vision. I'm going to leave his link down below. As you can see us here acting like, crazy fools. And what we talk about in there, you might want to take a look because we did drop some nuggets. Okay, I'm going to leave his link down below. Take a look up. Now, as we march on over here to Alex Mashimsky, you asked me why I continue to talk about the Celsius Network. What do you find so great about the project? Well, first of all, I love the extreme amount of over-transparency that Alex Mashimsky brings to the table. Okay, there is a link down below, and there's my promo code down below. If you would like to check it out, I do have a link down below. You would be supporting me, and you would also be supporting this channel to help it grow. But on the first side of that, go do your research on Alex Mashimsky. Go do your research on the Celsius Network. Go do past history research on the Celsius Network. Dig into the transparency that they bring. It's unmatched. I love how he faces up against every other DeFi project out there. I love how he tells us exactly what's going on with our digital assets. He is so transparent. It is like it's filthy overload. It's like to someone who's an investor in this space, it's so satisfying being in something like this. Now, let me stop. I want to share this video where he goes in on a little bit about the IMF and a little bit about proof of community. How much more proof do you need?
It's great. Look, the IMF invented the idea of stable coins. The SDR is the original kind of like basket of currencies which are represented by a token called the SDR. The SDR just represents 40% dollar and 20% euro and so on and so on. So we love the fact that the global organization that helps many countries around the world basically do better banking or get loans is choosing to endorse and explain cryptocurrencies. Obviously, they are moving in that direction, and they're probably going to be offering a digital SDR soon. And Celsius would love nothing less than include that in our wallet. We love SDR. I used SDR 30 years ago in the telecom business. So love what the IMF is doing and do more of that. So we talked a little bit about proof of work, proof of stake, right? Proof of work is Bitcoin, proof of stake is Ethereum and other EOS and other protocol. Ethereum is becoming proof of stake, right? Moving from proof of work to proof of stake. And what Celsius really wanted to focus on is proof of community. What does it mean, proof of community? It means that today we have to trust financial institutions like banks and others to transact on our behalf. We send our money to the bank and then the bank sends it to a trusted party. And the reason is that we can't trust each other, right? So, but with Celsius, we created a mechanism that is using the blockchain, using mechanisms like zero proof, like multi-signature, multi-sig, and smart contracts to deliver all these things without an intermediary, without a party in the middle. But everybody still has to trust Celsius. So how do you solve that problem? Well, proof of community enables all of our members, all of our participants to check and verify us in real time. Any one of our participants can verify that what we say is true by looking at the transaction, looking at all the stuff that we disclose.
You see what I mean by transparency? What I mean by Alex Mshitsky going the extra mile. This is what I'm talking about. This is what gets me excited. The fact that I did my research and got into a project and said, you know what, I decided to, you know, take a stab at this. But then the over extra transparency on top of Alex Mshitsky, it just takes me to a whole nother level. This is why I'm able to strap my seatbelt in and put my astronaut suit on and turn my Wi-Fi up and my AC on and eat my bananas and feel comfortable with my feet up. It's because of people like this.
And published. And that's very, very different than banks being audited once a year by some fancy auditor. That doesn't mean anything because we've seen many banks fail despite the fact that they were audited and everything looked just fine, right? So what you want is an institution that is not does not have any leverage and still acts in your best interest and performs all these functions without charging you huge fees or making money off your money and not sharing any of that with you. No, I accept the fact that central banks are overstepping their responsibilities and boundaries. I accept the fact that governments are printing money like crazy or basically giving, don't have any fiscal constraints, right? They're doing crazy things. Yes, we're going through very hard time with Corona and you know, but the problem is that when they take this action, it comes out of our pocket. We, the consumer, we, the citizen, ends up paying for all of this. And if it's not us, it's our children. And really, they are playing with our funds and our future. And the problem is that, you know, the governments mostly think about how do I get reelected? How do I don't get fired or thrown out of my post here and there? They're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about your children. And we get to a point where you're seeing this massive inflation in many countries around the world. You're seeing devaluation of their currencies. And all of that hurts people. It takes people from being self-sufficient and having dignity to despair. And these are things that are extremely painful to millions of people around the planet. So what Celsius is trying to do is create an island of safety, an island of trust that is not connected to any government, is not connected to any central bank. And that's really, you can only do that on a blockchain. So our job is really to give you a way to escape the terrible situation that you're stuck in Turkey or in Argentina or in Venezuela or in Lebanon and soon in many, many more countries. Unfortunately, you know, Brazil and other countries are going to have the same problems, right? So the beauty of crypto and the beauty of the blockchain is that these non-correlated assets that are denominated in gold or in crypto allow you to maintain your value and escape these actions from central banks and irresponsible governments. We're gonna start celebrating.
Now, I don't know if you didn't get anything from that. I let the whole video play just so you can get a full understanding, a full meal of exactly what's going on with Celsius Network, but it's also as well get a big scope of what's happening around the world and what could possibly be done. If this doesn't cause you to do your research, I don't know what else can. This is just magnificent. The times that we're in and the ability to be able to take hold. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will all see each other on the moon.